Well, my fandom began with the first Dune movie. I did not read the books. Did you read the books?
I did.
When did you read them? After the movie came out or before?
Long before the movie came out.
How long?
I read it when we were working at the beach in the guard room. It was one of my
lies.
summer books.
Lies. Justin.
Why are you accusing me of lies?
Because you're always like, oh, I knew this band back in 1894 before anyone else.
Because it's true.
You're the same way with books. Wow, Justin said it's really hard to always be early.
It is. What can I say? Nosferatu. Justin.
Elon motherfucking Musk! I just paid an Etsy witch $7.99 to make your life a living hell. Brace yourself. Geoff.
And welcome to
Vance.
Geoff, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year. New Year, new me. Just kidding. New Year, same old bullshit.
Same shit, different year. So how was well, I know how your holiday break was. I know that we're being normal, having a normal conversation here, but why don't you tell the listeners how your holiday break was?
I know that we're being very normal. Why don't you explain to our friends who are listening how your New Year's celebrations were?
Like normal people say, yes.
Exactly. New Year's was so fun. You were home. Justin was home. Brandy was there. Ben was home. Ken was home. Colleen was home.
Who wasn't home?
Anna was home. Everyone was home. All the girls were back. All the DC dolls came back to Connecticut. And we had a great time. We saw Nosferatu. We had a Rage Over Christmas party.
Yes, we did.
We had also a Rage Over New Year's party. We had a Mopwise themed dinner for New Year's, which was fun too. And delicious. Those oysters were killer. Yeah, just had a great time. Lots of laughs. Watched Wicked with our friend.
Yes, for the second time. For both of us, I believe. Unless you've already seen it more than twice.
Nope, it was my second time, and I loved it even more than the first. What say you with that?
I really, my love for it still stood up on the second watch, Geoff's squinting at me because he knows that I was talking shit about Glinda the entire movie, which I stand by if you go back and listen to our Wicked episode. God. And I just want to say, I'm getting some vibes from people that perhaps...
Vibes from who? Name them. You always say people, and you never say the specifics, which leads me to believe that you're making this up. This sounds like when Donald Trump is like, many people are saying
I'm definitely
this.
not making this up, because when I say vibes, what I mean is like explicit language from like you and everybody else who was watching Wicked with us about the direction that Glinda may be taking in Wicked 2, now subtitled For Good. Wicked for Good.
You know what, Justin? Let me take I'm going to turn over a new leaf in the new year. And I'm going to let you complete a thought before I interrupt and scream at you, because this was not where I thought you were going.
Wow, now we call that growth.
The floor is yours.
Yeah, so I just got a vibe from everybody who I was watching with, who I think almost everybody had either seen the musical or had spoiled themselves on what the second half of the musical's plot was.
Spoiled it!
And they were telling me, like, well, maybe you should reconsider your takes on Glinda. And I was like, I feel like I can judge Glinda for being a terrible person in this movie and still like a potential arc in movie 2, depending on how that arc turns out. So I stand by my assessment.
Let's celebrate that. Justin said I'm capable of changing my mind because my friends can be right too.
Yeah, absolutely. And also because I've only seen half of the narrative, Like that is something that is key, I think. I think everybody who was like so shocked at my like harshness towards Glinda has probably seen the musical and knows where her character ends up. So
yes.
Right.
I think that that's accurate. But let's talk about this. Ariana Grande, hands down, Best Supporting Actor of the Year. Actress of the Year.
And we will be talking about the Golden Globes, which features her nomination for Best Supporting Actress.
Wait, well, that's gonna be now, right?
Well, future us will be talking about it.
Yes, at time of recording, the Golden Globes have not yet occurred.
Exactly.
But they will be in just about 11 hours.
So we will be cutting in, a little bit of an extended Editor Justin cut, and we'll be talking about the results of the Golden Globes later this episode.
Actually, I think it's going to be Editor Geoff and Justin. You might call it Editor Justin or Just Steph.
You might call it that, but should you?
I don't think we should. I just realized we have it's a good thing we're not a partners romantic. Because we wouldn't have a good couple name.
No good couple name.
Justin and Geoff, it's like two just sounds.
Always an important consideration when you're trying to find a romantic partner.
And that's why I'll never date someone with a J or another Geoff with a G. Can't have that.
Well, Geoff, with that, why don't we get into some hot topics?
Hot topics.
We have been dying to talk about this on the pod because we have previously talked about the drama between Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni on our, I think it was a Hot Takes episode about film. So we'll put a link to that other episode in the show notes if you want to listen to our previous conversation. But just as a bit of a recap here, for those who didn't listen to that episode, there was a film that came out last August called It Ends With Us, and it starred Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni as two leads. Baldoni was also the director of this film. There was some speculation on social media about a rift between the two leads, Baldoni and Lively, because they were not showing up together during the press junket, and, you know, there were seemingly bad vibes, and this rift was confirmed by reporting in The Hollywood Reporter, which said that there were just general creative differences on the set of the film, which resulted in Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, taking control over the edit and other things.
Miss Ryan Reynolds in her villain era.
This was followed by Justin Baldoni hiring a PR crisis manager, who was the same guy who represented Johnny Depp during the Amber Heard trial.
Wait a second. Do you remember the Amber Heard Johnny Depp thing?
Yes. I mean,
What about her pooping in the bed? We don't talk about that enough. Pooping in the bed, Justin.
As she should have. Did you hear the shit that he did? I would poop in his bed too. I'd shit right in his bed.
But I'm not saying it's crazy, like, bad. I'm saying it's crazy funny.
Yes,
that she
it is.
Like, I'm shitting in this man's bed.
For everybody but her, probably. She was like obviously traumatized enough that she was just dead serious shitting in the bed, you know?
Oh. Oh dear. I didn't realize this was a trauma response. I thought this was a revenge.
Oh, well,
thing.
Obviously it was a revenge thing, but it was a revenge thing because of all the trauma. I don't know if it was a trauma response.
Okay. Well, in my mind, when I said that, it was a LOL. This is a great way to pay back somebody who's done you wrong, done you dirty.
It definitely was, and wishing Amber the best, wishing Johnny Depp a life.
Wishing him the life he deserves.
Yes. But back to Justin Baldoni and Blake Lively. So that's kind of where we ended off on our previous discussion. I think that importantly, at the time of our discussion, social media vibes about Blake Lively were pretty negative.
Oh, yeah.
I think that most people on social media were saying that Blake Lively was, you know, being kind of like a fake feminist in a way, like using feminism as like a smokescreen to divert from the fact that she just wanted control over this movie and was a control freak, right? I think that was the general vibes on social media. So recently, in December, Blake Lively filed a new lawsuit against Baldoni, his team, and his studio, and that lawsuit alleged sexual harassment, among many other things. We'll put a link in the show notes to the New York Times piece that reports on this lawsuit, but specifically, Lively was concerned early in filming about multiple instances of Baldoni walking in on her when she was nude. Baldoni was allegedly discussing his sex life with his wife, with Blake Lively, and he was also allegedly improvising intimate scenes with her, which, you know...
That is crazy!
Yeah, kind of bad to improvise, you know...
Hey, what if we just, like, improv, like, having sex right now?
What if we just made out, but as improv?
So crazy. Who would do that?
So this was the allegations in the lawsuit. And then following these initial concerns by Lively, she called a meeting with Baldoni. Ryan Reynolds was also involved in this meeting, and other producers on the film, where they set boundaries, including hiring an intimacy coordinator and making sure that they stick to the script when it comes to intimate scenes. So there were, there's a lot more details about this suit. If you want to know more, you should definitely look at the New York Times piece. But those are like the high-level allegations. So according to the lawsuit,
this is drama.
It was alleged that Baldoni hired the PR crisis manager that we knew about in fear that these details would leak and that there would be backlash.
Yeah.
So the lawsuit then alleges, with screen grabs of text messages between employees of the PR firm, that Baldoni and the PR firm representatives of him engaged in an astroturfing campaign to sway public opinion against Blake Lively on social media like Reddit, Instagram, and TikTok.
I've never heard of astroturfing.
Okay, so for those who don't know what astroturfing is, it's basically when...
I don't know.
You are a professional And, you might work for like a PR firm in this scenario. You might also work for like a political organization. And you basically pose as a real, genuine social media user, and you like post comments on social media posts or make posts yourself in an attempt basically to sway public opinion about an issue or a person, right? So essentially, these PR representatives were allegedly posting comments on like Instagram posts, on TikTok posts, reposting Reddit posts that were negative towards Blake Lively.
Aha.
And the lawsuit provides screenshots of the text messages between employees of this PR firm doing this and talking about how they did it and how happy they were that they had swayed public opinion against Blake Lively so successfully.
Which, like, whatever, that's what PR firms do.
They openly celebrated negative stories and then stated multiple times in these text messages, again, this is all in the lawsuits, this is all what Lively is alleging, but they stated in these text messages that Baldoni was, quote, so lucky, end quote, that the details of his alleged harassment hadn't leaked, and that the negative stories about Blake Lively were doing numbers, basically. So this is all part of Blake Lively's suit, right?
Why do these people put things in writing? Like, that's a phone call. That's not a Slack or a text. And it's certainly not an email.
I mean, I agree with you. I wonder how commonplace this is. Like you said a second ago, like this is just what PR firms do. But it is like a little bit disconcerting to see it laid out so plainly that like so many of the social media movements that we see like can be so easily affected by like a relatively small number of people who are professionals, right? And then not even to go into the political side of this, right? AstroTurfing on the political side of things.
I was just going to say that. I'm like, is that disconcerting? Sure, but is it like a shock to anyone? Absolutely not. That's what they do. Were you shocked by this, Justin? Did you say, wow, I had no idea?
I was shocked by how blatant they were in communicating to each other about it. I would think that this would be like a no-no, right? Or at least frowned upon. But no, they're like, yep, this is what we were hired to do, so we're going to do it. And then obviously it's, Lively is alleging that this is a retaliation campaign against her specifically for reporting these harassment claims and for asking Baldoni not to sexually harass her. Again, all alleged in her lawsuit, but still, that's what her lawsuit is saying. And I think that using it to weaponize kind of social media and everyday pop culture enjoyers like me and you against her is very villainous to me.
Yeah. I don't know. I guess I just... I don't know. I just feel like this is just how the world works. I mean, I was under no illusion that people were playing on the same field or by the same rules.
I mean, I agree with you. I don't think that I was under the impression that, like, Justin Baldoni or Blake Lively are spring chickens and did nothing wrong in this scenario. But I do think that it says something about how much you should have faith in stuff that you see on social media, because it's so easily influenced by, people who have ulterior motives, like Baldoni's team did in this case. Okay, so a couple more updates on this. So following the filing of this lawsuit in the Times, Baldoni was dropped by his agency, WME.
Yep.
And then this resulted in a follow-up lawsuit by Baldoni, who sued the New York Times, who, again, they are the ones who reported on Blake Lively's lawsuit for libel.
That's going to be hard to prove.
He alleged in the lawsuit that the claims of harassment were false and that WME dropped him due to pressure from Lively and her husband, Ryan Reynolds, because they both are also represented by WME. But following this lawsuit, WME actually clarified in an official statement that Baldoni was not dropped due to pressure from Lively and Reynolds. And that's kind of where things stand at this point, is that we have these dueling lawsuits between Lively and Baldoni that both kind of allege that Blakely
sounds like a millennial name, millennial child name. Blakely, come over here and be with Braden.
So Blake Lively's lawsuit alleges sexual harassment, and then Baldoni's lawsuit alleges that the sexual harassment claims are all false and that he is being slandered, essentially. So that's where things stand. Geoff, have your opinions about this whole situation changed following these developments?
I mean, not really. Firstly, I have a couple thoughts that I want to talk about that maybe don't really necessarily relate to this exactly. But WME, that talent agency, a behemoth in the entertainment world, representing all sorts of people. Amy Adams, Blake Lively, Ryan Reynolds, Tyler Perry, others. Do you know that WME stands for William Morris Endeavor?
No, did not know that.
I just looked it up and I said, Endeavor? William Morris Endeavor is the name of your company? Very odd. It's like William Morris's Endeavor is the company.
Yeah, like into business, into representation.
Into business. What a weird name. So that's one thought I had. The other thought I had was, I don't know. I just feel like this story is boo-boo garbage, and I just, like, want it to end, because it's, like, not really fun. Like, it went from being, like, gossipy, like, oh, they don't get along, to, like, becoming dark. And I don't like that.
It is dark, but I think you're right. It's less fun to talk about now because there's, like, real allegations of sexual harassment. And if you look into the specifics in that New York Times article, it's like, you know, some of it is really, it reminds me of that story about Kanye West showing people porn at work. Like, it's very similar, where Baldoni was asking Lively questions about, allegedly, like, her and Ryan's sex life, allegedly, in her lawsuit. So that kind of stuff, if true, is, like, pretty disturbing and is, like, a hostile work environment.
Hey, fellas, what if you just jerked off? What if you just jerked off? Because there's no reason to be sexually assaulting or harassing people. Just get the horniness out. Go crank your wank in the bathroom or something at work if you're really that backed up and in need of having an orgasm.
We really don't condone jerking off at work.
Sure we do.
But if you have to either do that or commit sexual harassment.
I just don't understand it. It's like, it's so crazy how deviant and... I just hate men.
I mean, it's kind of pathetic. It's kind of, like, sad in a way. Like, not that I feel bad for him, but I pity him in that he, like, felt the need. And then apparently, like, a lot of his, like, mental breakdowns that he allegedly had on the set of the film were resulting from this, like, drama, quote unquote, between him and Blake. That she had, like, asked him about to set these boundaries. And he was very concerned about his, like, public persona and his reputation moving forward. And that's why he apparently was stressed out. Remember, I think he's talked publicly about how he was very stressed out during the production of this film.
Okay.
I don't feel bad for him, but I just think he's like I pity him, like, as a guy. He's kind of a sad dude.
I think it's tough that you're not getting laid to the point where you have to start being an asshole at work.
Well, apparently it's not. He was talking to Blake, allegedly, about him and his wife's sex life, and then asking Blake questions about her and Ryan's sex life.
Were these text messages released, or was this just, like, conversation that was allegedly had?
This is alleged conversations that Blake Lively spoke about in her lawsuit. What is confirmed by documents that were provided in her lawsuit, again, if you trust that those documents haven't been modified or edited in some way, is that they did have a meeting with the producers of the film that were triggered by these types of events that resulted in Lively and the producers setting boundaries that everybody agreed upon. So stuff like, you know, not showing videos of naked women to Blake Lively on the set, hiring an intimacy coordinator, you know, not talking about sex lives. Like, these were all things that were listed on the document that was provided by Lively and her team.
This is insane. We have to move on. I can't talk about this anymore.
We will be sure to update whenever Geoff is mentally ready to do so.
Spoiler, I don't think that's going to happen. I just, like, I can't. It's so, like, why does everything have to be dark? Why does everybody have to be gross?
Here's something that's not dark or gross. Why don't we move on to our future selves, and we'll talk about the winners of this year's Golden Globes.
Justin, guess what?
What?
It's our favorite season.
It is. It's finally, well, I guess not finally. It's continuing because the Emmys already happened, but...
Yeah, the Emmys don't really count.
But award season has truly
award
begun.
Season. It's upon us. Golden Globes tonight. We've got the Oscars sometime. I'm not really sure when they are this year. I think it's kind of late. And we have the Grammys in February.
Yes, the Oscars are going to be in early March.
Early March?
Yes.
Winter is award season.
That's exactly right, Geoff. And let's throw it to our future selves to talk about the winners from this year's Golden Globes.
How about them Globes, though?
The Globes. Future Geoff, isn't it crazy that time travel is real now?
Future Justin, it sure is pretty crazy that that's something that we definitely did.
Yeah, the Golden Globes. So what did you think of the host, Nikki Glaser?
I thought Nikki Glaser did a great job. She did a little bit of the roasting, which is what I think a lot of people know her for. And she did a great job at that. It was all very, like, all in good fun roasting. It was nothing totally savage.
Yeah, I think she, like, towed the line pretty well. I think that award shows, comedians, and hosts in general can be a little bit too risk-averse. And I appreciated that Nikki Glaser had a couple of, had a couple of borderline controversial jokes, but never crossed the line into full, like, cringe.
Yeah, I don't think she did either. I think she did a great job. I also think that the award show hosting job is, like, totally thankless because you have a really difficult job to do. people either like, you suck, you're horrible, and that was an awful host job, or they're like, that was great, do it 5 more times, or they're like, how did they get this job? This makes no sense to me, and who are they?
Honestly, she nailed it. Her monologue at the beginning, I laughed multiple times. Like, her opening joke was about how everybody has to cancel their free trial of Paramount Plus, which I literally signed up for, like, out an hour before the ceremony for that free
Literally
trial.
same. Yeah, that was really funny. And then before that, she was talking about how they, what a year for Ozempic. I also enjoyed her comment. I think an unsung joke of the night from her was, let's celebrate all the actors who are working hard serving your food and drinks and the food for you to look at.
That, and I also really enjoyed the, Timothée Chalamet, you have such beautiful eyebrows on your upper lip. Or
eyelashes,
eyelashes on your upper lip.
As someone with a sketchy mustache, you can relate.
I can relate. I was like, you know what? Timmy also gets the jokes. I appreciate it. I appreciate that it's not just me.
He was laughing. You know what? Some of the celebrities were not laughing when they were, like, being laughed at. And I was like, come on, guys. You gotta laugh at yourself.
You gotta get into it,
It's tough when you see people who take themselves too seriously to laugh at, like, an objectively, like, funny joke. Even if it wasn't, like, a knee slapper. You know what I mean?
I mean, I am somebody where I will laugh at a joke even if I don't get it, just from like muscle memory of like trying to be like a personable human, So I don't get that at all.
This explains why you laugh at everything I say.
Well, you are also funny, so it's not you, But I do this even at times where I'm just awkward and didn't hear what somebody said.
Oh, I do that all the time. You know I can't hear. I can never hear anything. People, especially if there's like ambient noise, background noise at a bar, at a club.
It's over.
People are talking to me. Oh, yeah. I don't know what you said, but I'm going to smile and say, oh, that's great. Let's get another drink.
The rest of the ceremony.
What'd you think of the awards?
Like the presenters of the awards you're talking about?
Or
the
sure,
winners?
We could talk about that too, but I was thinking more about like who won.
Okay, well, you can go right into the winners, right? But I have one thing that I think is so interesting about the Golden Globes is the way that it's like marketed as like a almost like insider award show. Like only Hollywood cares about the Golden Globes seems to be the way that people were like talking about it. It's almost like a business like feeling. Like a lot of the jokes were like Hollywood jokes,
Like it's a joke. It's like a convention almost.
Exactly. It feels like an industry convention.
Mm-hmm.
And even like I saw a picture on Instagram about you remember the bit that Nikki Glaser had where she was like, who got the most thank yous during the awards?
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah, cast and crew, moms. I saw an image of when they weren't recording like live, and that same wall showed like the number of awards by network.
Oh, really?
And they were like, in case things were in danger of getting too classy at the Golden Globes, they have a literal scoreboard.
That's really funny.
I just think it's like an interesting niche for an award show to fill. The broadcast really emphasized like how all these celebrities were meeting each other, and they were like, yeah, we see Timmy C shaking like Tilda Swinton's hand or whatever.
Yeah,
really getting into like the celebrity of it all, which I think is really interesting. Whereas like the Oscars and the Grammys, but especially the Oscars, like really play up the classiness and how important and self-serious and artistic everything is. Yeah.
Yes, that's part of why I was so interested at some of the winners from this, because they took choices. The people who won were not what I would have guessed.
Well, let's talk about the winners.
Okay, wait. Before we even talk about the winners, though, now I'm going back.
Okay.
What about the fashion, Justin? What about the fashion? What did you think of it? What did you think of the red carpet?
I didn't watch the red carpet, like the pre-show, but I did see people's fits like in the room. I wasn't paying too close attention. I think one fit that definitely stood out was Jeremy Strong's, which we were texting during the show and you shouted that out.
He looked like LL Cool J at the VMAs in 2001.
I can never tell with him, like, how much of him is doing it, like, knowingly, ironically, as, like, an actor, and how much of him is literally just, like, his character in Succession. And he's doing it fully seriously. You know what I mean?
L to the OG, A to the N.
Exactly. Like, how much is real and how much is irony? I don't know with him. I don't know who he is as a real person.
I know, right? Isn't he such an enigma?
He is. I'm very curious about him, for sure.
I'm curious about him, too. I kind of liked his outfit, though. Like, it was hilarious, but it was kind of like slay.
I mean, honestly, whether it was like a little bit ironic or full sending it, I think it was kind of cool. It was still kind of a cool fit. Yeah.
There's another guy who had a fun outfit on for men. Because, men is also menswear is just boring. It just is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, Coleman Domingo always looks great, and he always wears interesting clothing. I think he looked very good that night. But there's another guy. He was in Fellow Travelers and something else. He was nominated for something. I can't remember his name. He's one of those, one of those middle-aged white guys. Andrew Scott, maybe? Was that him? Yeah, Andrew Scott.
Oh, Hot Priest? He was in Ripley. Yeah.
Okay, yes. He was wearing, like, almost like Robin's egg or Tiffany blue at the Golden Globes, like head to toe. Shirt, coat, pants, tie.
Mm-hmm.
It was kind of a vibe.
You also shouted out Andrew Garfield in our live texting of the show.
Andrew Garfield, mama, I'm sat. I am sat in a puddle, let's say, because that man looked so fine that evening. I mean, I've always thought he was so cute, but when he took his glasses out and put those on so he could read the teleprompter better, ooh, honey.
It was funny because you could see him, like, adjusting his shirt and necklace a little bit. There must have been, like, a monitor so that he could see what he looked like.
Oh, sure.
And he was like, adjusting himself. He was feeling himself, that's for sure.
As well, he should. He looked great. That emerald green. We love to see the darker colors on the autumns and the winters, you know?
We do.
We love that representation.
And what about the women? Any styles on the women that you loved?
There was a few. I thought Cynthia Erivo's outfit was fun and different, and it looked cool. I think she generally, like, rocks the red carpet.
I feel like her and Ariana have both been... They've been, like, in character almost in their press tour and all the red carpets they've been at. Like,
Totally.
They've been staying consistent the whole time, and they did so here as well, yeah.
Yeah, Ariana said something about how one of Glinda's favorite colors is yellow. Hence Yellow Brick Road. And she was wearing, like, I would say it was like a light gold. I did not love that dress, and I did not love that color on Ariana. But she looked great.
She always looks great.
But it just washed her out, you know? We've all got to wear our seasons. That's what I've learned in 2024. We've all got to wear our seasons. Look, I'm wearing my season today. I'm wearing a deep emerald green sweater.
And it looks dashing, Geoff.
Deep winter. Oh, thank you, Justin. You look fine. Just kidding. You look great. See, you're wearing your season too.
Yes.
I think you're also a dark winter or true winter.
I think you've said this before on the pod, actually.
Yeah.
I'll have to dig back in the archives.
I'm pretty sure you're high contrast as well. We're both high contrast, and I think that your skin is a lighter shade, so I think that you might be a true winter. That's my thought. But what about Zendaya? 10 out of 10.
Oh, Zendaya, of course. Zendaya looked gorgeous. Very, like, old Hollywood vibes.
I loved it.
I wasn't going to talk about this because it was kind of speculation until, like, a couple hours ago, but she showed up wearing an engagement ring, or what appeared to be an engagement ring on her ring finger.
5 carats.
A couple hours ago, it was confirmed through reporting that her and Tom Holland are engaged. So big congrats to Tom. What's their couple name? Tom Daya?
Tom Daya Zendom?
Either of those.
What did Ben say earlier? I think he did say Zendom.
Zendom, yes.
Zendom. I do love that. Zendom. Zendom me, daddy. Provide tranquility to my crazy life. Please.
I love that they try to keep their relationship out of the spotlight as much as they can as, like, uber famous people. It's really cute. Very cute.
It is cute. I love them together. And you know what? I love that they're both so confident that she doesn't wear flats around him. She's still rocking her heels even though she's towering over him.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Justice for short kings.
We love a short king.
We sure do.
And I stand by that.
I stand by it too. That's pretty much all the standouts in my mind. Oh, I do want to talk about this, though. I think Nicole Kidman's dress was great. Oh, wait. Demi Moore looked fantastic.
Demi Moore. We'll talk more about Demi Moore later, I think.
We'll talk about Demi Moore. But she looked great. But Nicole Kidman, I loved her outfit. That hair was crazy. It was so big, Justin. It was full of Tom Cruise's secrets. Also, I was laughing at Nikki Glazer's joke about Keith Urban.
Oh, yeah. Keep on. What did she say? Keep on strumming your guitar over there, kangaroo, or something like that. I don't even remember
you crazy koala.
Yeah, that's what it was.
She's like, thank God that you're sitting in there driving Nicole crazy in the house so she goes out and makes 18 movies a year. Keep on strumming your guitar, you crazy koala. That was so good.
Couple of rapid fire round fits that I thought were really great.
Okay, let's hear them.
Selena Gomez, I thought, looked incredible.
Beautiful.
And Anna Sawai of
Anna
Shogun
Sawai.
also looked gorgeous.
Gorgeous. I wish that her skirt had been hemmed like maybe an inch higher. Otherwise, perfect. Short queen.
Yeah, absolutely. And those are my fashion picks. Those are the people who I noticed, at least.
Yeah, that's who I noticed too. Those people are all great. That's all. Just wanted to touch on the fashion, you know?
Okay, so let's get into who won. Let's talk TV first.
The winners.
I feel like TV, the Golden Globes sits in an interesting place because it comes after the Emmys. So, like, I think it tends to follow what the Emmys have already kind of decided. And
right.
Not always, but it tends to. And this year, it definitely did. So Shogun won most of the dramatic awards, including...
Sweeping.
Yes, most of the acting awards for dramatic TV shows as well.
Yeah. Best Actress.
Yes, Best Actress, Best Actor, and Best Supporting Actor, which I think was new to the Golden Globes. I don't think that he won at the Emmys.
Correct.
His name is Tadanobu Asano.
Great. I loved his speech, too.
Oh, yeah, he was just, like, so happy.
He was thrilled. I was so happy for him.
Yeah.
Much deserved. I gotta say, I started revisiting Shogun again. Very good, Justin. Very good indeed.
I'm glad to hear that you're liking it.
Can't believe I fell off of it.
And then most of the comedy awards went to Hacks, which, again, a pod fave. And Jean Smart won for Best Actress, and I believe it just won for Best Overall Comedy. Yeah, won most of the comedy awards.
Yeah. We gotta talk about The Bear.
Yes, so one newly eligible show that was eligible for the Golden Globes, but not for the recent Emmys, was Season 3 of The Bear. So Jeremy Allen White won for Best Actor for Season 3.
Yet again, in the comedy category.
Yes, in the comedy category, which I think, we've talked a lot about the genre of The Bear on the pod.
Mm-hmm. It make no sense.
I don't really think it's a comedy, but even besides that, I think this is probably The Bear's weakest season.
100%.
I feel like if Jeremy Allen White were to lose the award, this would be the year.
And yet, he didn't.
He didn't. I think that there was actually pretty strong competition in this category, too. So
definitely.
There was Adam Brody, who was in Nobody Wants This, which I haven't watched, but Brandy watched it. It's been generally well received.
I've heard he was great.
That's a pretty straightforward comedy, too. Like, not really a dramedy.
I love Adam Brody. I had a crush on Seth Cohen, the OC days. What y'all know about the OC?
I actually don't think I've ever watched the OC, like, front to back. I've watched, like, random episodes here and there.
Okay, I was going to say, I'm going to make you watch an episode next time I see you.
Okay.
But since you've already seen it, I won't make you suffer through, because I can say now, as an adult, it's kind of a bad soap opera corny show, but it was something back in high school days. Remember when our culture became, like, obsessed with Southern California for, like, 2 or 3 years?
Yeah, Laguna Beach. We've talked about that. Yeah.
Laguna Beach, the OC, Hollister. Remember Hollister Domination?
Yes, I do, of course.
Abercrombie's cool little brother came to town, and everyone was like, whoa, I'm surfer now, bruh.
I know, and like the Justin Bieber, like, Swift hair.
Oh, yeah.
Swish hair is what I mean, not Taylor Swift hair. Although Taylor Swift did have those bangs for a minute.
She was rocking Hollister. She was rocking that H-Co uniform every now and then, too.
Oh, yeah.
I remember seeing her popped collars.
No judgment, because we've all been there.
Oh, we've all been there.
But yeah, in the comedy actor category, there was also Ted Danson for A Man on the Inside, which I think is also a newly eligible show. Wasn't eligible for the Emmys.
Interesting.
Jason Segel for Shrinking, which is one of, I would say, our pod's favorite shows.
Yeah, love that show.
So the competition was pretty strong, so I was a little bit surprised to see Jeremy Allen White win, and he also was not at the ceremony. So
I know, you know what? I think automatically disqualified, unless you're actually sick. Unless you have a doctor's note, you don't show up, you don't get the award. How about that? It's like a raffle.
The other big win that went against the Emmys was Colin Farrell for The Penguin, which, again, was a show that was not eligible for the Emmys.
Right.
A generally critically acclaimed show. What did you think of that win?
Well, I did not watch The Penguin, but what I did watch was Colin Farrell's dye job. I said to you, do we see what's happening to his hair right now? And you said, I think it's intentional. And I wrote back, I hope. Because it looked crazy. I'm like, I really hope this is for a role because it looks insane.
It looked so dark that in certain lights, it looked like it was two-tone. Like, I thought that it was an intentional, like, coloring job, but I don't know.
It was it had that like reddish glow that you get when you try to like color dark hair, because the underlying pigment of like dark hair, like black hair or dark brown hair, is red. So when you lift the pigment to like lighten it to a different color, a lot of red shows through. I said, Miss Ma'am needs a toner if we think this is a finished job and this isn't for a look. I just want to know who was on his glam squad.
I personally was a little bit surprised to see Colin Farrell win, but not Kristen Milioti win for The Penguin.
Who dat?
So Kristen Milioti, she's been in a few other things. She was a little bit of a spoiler for How I Met Your Mother. She plays the mother in How I Met Your Mother, that show that aired on CBS a long time ago. She was also in Fargo in 2015. So that was the second season. She also was in Palm Springs, that Andy Samberg starring film that came out, I believe, on Hulu during the pandemic.
Hulu?
It was like a Groundhog Day spin. She's really great, and I've heard a lot of good things about her performance in The Penguin.
Oh, wait, her! Yes! Oh, she is really good.
Yeah. Apparently she really broke out in The Penguin, so I was kind of expecting her to win. And Jodie Foster ended up winning for True Detective again, like the Emmys.
Come on now. Come on now. Listen, I like Jodie Foster a whole lot. I think she's one of our greats. I would put her up as like a living legend at this point. However, that role was not a stretch for her. She was great in it. It was not a stretch for her. And I feel like we've seen her play that kind of a badass, like kind of rough around the edges authority figure many times. And that season of True Detective just really was not it. There were some great performances and great elements, but like overall I give that show a C.
It was a little bit mid. I think that Jodie Foster's performance was one of the best parts.
Absolutely. I don't want to take anything away from her. I'm just like, we've seen this before. This wasn't groundbreaking. I just kind of am in the spirit of like, if you're going to win this award, it has to be because no one else could have done what you did. You brought something really special to the role.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why, Justin, I got to talk about this for a second. I am so verklempt that Ariana did not win for Wicked.
Okay, so let's get into the film winners here.
Because what the fuck? Who else could have done what Ariana Grande did in that damn performance? It was absolutely earth-shatteringly good. I've like almost never watched anybody else do a performance and been like, they were born for this. Like, no one else could have done it.
Okay, to put this into broader context, similar to the TV awards, the film awards were very much swept by specific representatives of each genre category.
Yes.
So most of the drama awards went to The Brutalist, which is a film that I have not seen.
Well, it just came out like 2 days ago.
Exactly. Very critically acclaimed, haven't seen it. And then most of the comedy / musical awards went to Emilia Pérez, which is a film on Netflix. I have not watched it. Apparently it is a musical, but I've heard some interesting discourse, to use a word, about Emilia Pérez, and I don't know, about it being like the crash of this year, it being maybe like a dark horse for winning Best Picture at the Oscars.
Sleeper cell.
And maybe not being actually that good, question mark? The person who actually won supporting actress was Zoe Saldana in Emilia Pérez. She played Rita Mora Castro in that show, or in that movie, sorry. And I think that Emilia Pérez winning, almost sweeping the comedy categories here, is the reason why Ariana Grande lost.
Yeah.
I think it has to do with the appearance of like progressivism and social justice, because Emilia Pérez does feature a leading actress who's trans.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that voters see that and they're like, we gotta vote for that show or that movie.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I get that idea, but I feel like we don't need to make the award show just about a political statement. Like, do these people actually feel that Emilia Pérez was the best comedy musical film?
Like, I haven't seen it, so I don't really have a take on it.
I need to see it too.
I'll put an article in the show notes. It's in Them, which is a LGBTQ website that talks about this controversy around Emilia Pérez. But there is a bit of discourse about critics really liking Emilia Pérez, mostly, like straight cis critics liking the film, and then trans people not really being super into the film. And in that respect, I think that's why people are comparing it to Crash, because Crash was a very similar vibe where it was like, oh, it's about like disadvantaged populations, so like we have,
people of color.
It's so socially important, like we have to vote for it,
These stories need to be told.
Right, but the movie just wasn't good.
But it's and it's like also things told through white lens.
Right. And importantly, the director of Emilia Pérez is like a white French cis man.
Yeah. By the way, speeches from that guy, very weird. Very weird, Justin. Listen, I said this to you a couple times during the award show while we were texting, because I have such an issue when people know that, okay, you all are insiders, right? And this is like the Insiders Award show, as we talked about.
Yeah.
You know that this is primarily, first and foremost, a television program. So guess what we're not going to do, Justin? We're not going to stand up and hug all of our friends and loved ones and colleagues at the table. Get your ass out your chair and get up to the stage. Too sweet. We don't have time for this. You're making the show run late, bitch. Get up on that stage, say something cute or don't, and say something sincere and short. If you have nothing prepared, just say, thank you so much. This means a lot to me. I'll thank everyone on my own time because I won't have time now. Just like Anna Sawai did, which was perfect. I loved her speech. It was cute. It was heartfelt. It was short. She kept it moving. Anna Sawai, as always, gets the assignment. Mr. French director of Emilia Pérez most certainly did not understand the assignment.
Oof.
It was tough.
You know, I would normally disagree with you on this because I do think that award shows should be more about the art and about the artists than it should be about, like, you know, the consumer, the person watching it. However, this being the niche that the Golden Globes is in, where it's really for people who are, you know, the way that they're selling this is to be like, this is for the people who, like the heads. These are for the people who are obsessed with celebrity culture. You know, I do think, you know, I agree with you to an extent on this one.
We're performing. We're all in theater camp, and this is our end of year recital. So get into it.
Right. I will say, one person who won an award in the comedy musical category who was a huge shock was Demi Moore.
Yes.
That was for me the most shocking moment of the night. Yeah.
I think it was a shock for her too, honestly.
And also, speaking of like touching, incredible speeches, I think her award speech was the best of the night.
I agree. 100% I agree. It was so great.
Have you seen The Substance?
I have not seen it because you told me it was very gory and I don't like gore, but now I kind of want to watch it.
It is super gory to the point of going over the top from being like gross to being funny. Like, it's so insane that it starts becoming absurd, you know, towards the end, which is, I think, probably why it edges into that comedy category here. I think they were just really trying to get a nomination in the comedy category.
Got it.
Which is why they put it there. It's a bit of a stretch, but I'm happy that Demi Moore won because the movie is really incredible, and Demi Moore's performance is easily the best there. Margaret Qualley does a great job, too, but her character, by the nature of her character, is a little simpler. And I think that Demi Moore's character in the film has a lot of parallels with her actual career in life. You know, she's relatively recently put out a memoir that was really well received. And, you know, she just has like a classic Hollywood story, you know. And I think that that's part of the reason why she won here in this very like Hollywood-centric award show where everybody kind of knows her story and is like, this is her year, as you said to me.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, I felt like a couple of years ago, it might have been last year, when Glenn Close was nominated for something. Everyone was like, oh, this is her year to win. She's been nominated like 7 times. And I'm like, no, that's not how you decide.
I agree.
It's tough. But good for Demi Moore.
And I think she did deserve it for this role. I mean, it's incredible. I would recommend it if you have a stomach for gore, because it is a really good movie.
I do not, but I still might try it.
Now, any thoughts about The Brutalist, which is the winner of most of the dramatic, or I shouldn't say most. It won Best Director, I believe Best Picture, and Best Actor for Adrian Brody.
Oh, do I have thoughts about this?
Yes, what are your thoughts?
Firstly, Adrian Brody, shut the fuck up. That speech was so fucking masturbatory and self-indulgent, so fucking long. You're a disgusting person. You're an okay actor, I'll give you that. You're like pretty good sometimes. But you're a bad person. You are a racist. You are a misogynist. You are a sexual assailant. I don't want to see you on my TV screen. And guess what? I'm also never watching that fucking movie, because tell me why that movie is 3 hours and 45 minutes long. Get the fuck out of here. Who has time for that?
Okay, I'm not saying the movie's not long. I am curious about it. And let me tell you something. Did you know that during showings of this movie that they have a 15-minute intermission in the middle of the movie?
The fuck out of here. Intermission, I'm going home. If it's not done in 2.5 hours, 2 hours and 40 minutes, if it's really great, like Wicked, I have other things to do. Reclaiming my time as a great, what's her name? Maxine Waters said.
Maxine Waters, yeah.
I'm reclaiming my time. I'm not watching that. Are you going to watch that movie?
I am. I'm very curious about it. It has the vibes of like a There Will Be Blood, that kind of vibe.
It?
Yeah, I think so.
What the
to
fuck?
me?
How could it have that kind of a vibe?
Like it has this kind of like big American, the American film, like the Great American Novel type vibe. You know what I'm saying? Okay. It has that energy. It's like a big immigrant story. It seems to be trying to tell like an epic, multi-generational, like American immigrant story. I'm curious about it. What tends to happen with me is that I tend to go into those movies thinking like, oh yeah, this is going to be such a odyssey. It's going to be incredible. And then like 2 hours in, I'm like, this is a little boring.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens, but I am curious about it.
I truly feel like if your movie is that long, it's because you don't have an editor who's been given the agency to do their job. Like that means to me that you've had a director who's like so fucking focused on their art that they're not thinking about the watchability and the consumerism that has to come along with your art. Like you can make art for the sake of it, right? Like no one has to ever see it. You can do it because it's enjoyable to you. But at the end of the day, these movies really can't be that because there is a budget, unless they're self-funded and taken at least out of Miss Costner's book. I think you can always make art for the sake of making art and be okay with nobody seeing that. These films are not that, and these award shows are intrinsically not about making art for the sake of it. They are about like art that is good and has been enjoyed by your peers or at least the voting body, right? So I don't know. I just don't feel like you can pick a movie based on like solely based on whether it's just like really great. Like you have to have other considerations, and like making this the best picture but then no one in the world sees it because it's so fucking long is a crazy idea.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is like a classic conflict in award shows. Like who should win an award? Is it the most commercially successful film? Is it the best film, quote unquote, like artistically? I mean, even in this award show, they had that award that was like best achievement in cinematic success, which was like so weird.
It was so
to me.
Bizarre.
Wicked won for it, which I'm like, why is this even an award? Isn't it kind of inherently an award in itself to be like such a successful movie financially?
It was sort of. It reminded me of like Demi Moore talking about how that person told her she was a popcorn actress.
Right, it feels like a backhanded compliment to win that award.
It does. It felt very cheap, I thought.
So it is I understand what you're saying, that there is always a factor of commercialism when it comes to these things.
Yeah.
And there's big, like, campaigns to get these films nominated for these awards, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying that that's not true, but I do love an uncompromised vision. So that's part of what draws me to films like this, and a lot of times it doesn't work out for me. So I'm not saying that I'm always right, but I'm curious
okay
about
with
it.
Uncompromised vision as long as your vision is not fucking 4 hours long. That is like so absurd. It's just crazy, Justin. I can't get over it.
It's long. It's long.
I'm just never going to watch it. I don't have the attention span.
Other winners in the films. I think that there were a couple of cool acting wins for drama. Sebastian Stan won for A Different Man.
Liked his speech.
And Kieran Culkin won for A Real Pain for the comedy category.
You know what was a real pain was watching Kieran Culkin's tattoos and Taylor Swiftie bracelets on stage. That was a real pain for me. That was tough to see.
He does, it's very in character for him, though. It really is.
Yeah, but to me, it's sort of like, yes, and that's kind of what it is with him for me, is like, he really does feel like it's all put on and it's a character thing. Like, he rolled up his sleeves so you could see all the nonsense. I'm like, this is a lot. It's very pick-me.
I think he's just one of those people, like, he's that kind of actor. There's two kinds of actors. There's actors who disappear into a role and they're, like, unrecognizable. And there's actors that are just a slightly different version of themselves in every role that they play.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And Kieran Culkin is just a slightly different version of himself in every role that he plays.
I think that's exactly right.
I think it's just hard for him to turn that part of himself off. And I do, like, all the tattoos and, like, candy bracelets do align with that,
Yeah. Who would you say are other actors who play a version of themselves?
Oh, we were just talking about Denzel Washington in Gladiator
right.
2, right? Yeah.
I think about Jennifer Coolidge too.
Oh, absolutely. Right. Completely agree.
It's like you cast them for their personality.
Jeff Goldblum, another great example.
Oh, yeah. Jeff Goldblum. I really want to have a Jeff Goldblum impersonation because I think it would be a fun one to whip out at parties.
Oh, yeah. You should work on that.
I'm going to try. Not right now, though.
And then quick shout out to, I think what was our best, or our most like, fuck yeah moment of the award show, which was when Challengers won for Best Original Score, Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross.
That was amazing. We both were like, hell yeah!
I was like, thank God. Like, thank God they won this award. It's easily the best original score that I've heard this year, or last year.
100% hands down. I mean, I've not played another soundtrack or score. Well, I shouldn't say soundtrack. I have played the Wicked soundtrack, but I've not played another original score, in years. Not since Memoirs of a Geisha, Justin. And that was fucking like 20 years ago at this point.
That was a long time ago, damn.
Yeah, that was the last one that I was like, I love this whole score. I'm going to play it all the time. Challenge is so good. And you know what? That made me say there's still hope left in this world. It did. Because I was like, people can appreciate this like crazy, insane electronica soundtrack.
I know. Well, I'm glad that everybody did. I mean, it was really bold and like loud.
So bold and loud. Yeah, in every way. It was fucking great.
It also affected the film. Like it,
positively.
We talked about this during our Challengers episode, but like it really dovetailed and accentuated the themes that were already there in the film, which I think was so cool.
You know who else was fucking thrilled about that win? Sir Elton John.
Yes, Elton John. Elton John was like, yes!
Sir Elton John was fucking stoked. And you know what? I'm so thrilled that he was as stoked as we were because Elton John has great taste. Have you ever listened to his podcast?
I haven't. I knew he had a podcast, but I haven't listened to it.
I don't listen all the time, I will fully admit, but I do tune in every now and then. And he actually has played some music that you have put on. The What's Good as well. Porter Robinson.
Oh, really?
Yep.
I did not know that Elton John was a Porter Robinson fan.
Elton John loves music. Like, he is like an artist who I think truly loves his craft and like loves his music. And so like he often has really cool stuff on there that he's like, oh, this is a new up and coming artist. You may not have heard of them, but I think they're great and let's give it a listen. And then he plays it.
That's sick. That's very cool.
It is very cool. Do you ever listen to Charlie's podcast?
Charlie XCX's podcast?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
It's actually, I think that now they're saying podcasts, I think they're released on podcast outlets, but I think that they're actually like BBC radio shows.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Like in this day and age, what's the difference, you know?
Yeah. If you can get it on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, it's
exactly.
a podcast.
Charlie's is fun too sometimes. I forget what it's called. I think it's called something about like the end of the party. Or right before the party, something like that. And she just plays like fun club music. You'd enjoy it.
I would love to, listen to that. I feel like Charlie's definitely in her DJ era, which I love.
She loves to. That and acting.
So any last thoughts about the Golden Globes?
Well, you know, like I said before, it's those three options with the host. It's do it again, who are you, or you suck. And I think Nikki Glaser should do it again.
I agree. I think she nailed it. Her.
She did nail it.
Yeah.
I also thought her popular thing was pretty funny.
Oh, that was really funny, actually.
It was clear a lot of people had not watched, what's it called? Clavinova? Not Clavinova.
Conclave.
Conclave. I don't know why I thought Clavinova. Isn't that an instrument?
I have no idea. Are you thinking like baklava? Music? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying.
I'm certainly not thinking of the Greek food baklava. Or Turkish.
I don't know what you're thinking of, honestly. But yeah, that was a really funny bit. The moment I was thinking to myself, like, this is gonna be so cringe. The moment before she was like, "Is this shit?" And I was like, "Okay, good,
yeah,
good."
I thought it was a perfect joke because it did defy expectation, not gravity.
Well, let's throw it back to past Geoff and Justin.
Oh yeah, those guys, those crazy kids. Let's see what they're up to. And we're back to present times.
Thank you, future Justin and future Geoff. That was great,
man. Justin, the Golden Globes are really something.
They were so good. What if they were trash? What if, like, they didn't happen or there was some horrible accident?
Justin, they were so good. What are you talking about? We just watched it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. We're not doing Darkness. We loved the Golden Globes.
It was amazing. And that bit they did in the beginning, that was a knee slapper.
Classic Nikki Glaser, who was the host of the Golden Globes.
And you know what? She did great. She looked great. A great time was had by all.
So true. So true.
And the winners, Justin?
The winners
they really won.
They were victorious.
They really won this year. It was amazing.
Can you believe how hard the winners won?
I can't. I really can't. I'm still awestruck.
I'm still thinking about it.
We could go on about the Golden Globes for a long time, but we do have something else that we got to talk about.
That's right. And that is the television show Dune Prophecy.
Dune Prophecy!
So let's take a quick break, and then we'll come back and talk about Dune.
I can't wait.
We are so back, Geoff, and we are ready to talk about one of our favorite franchises, Dune.
I love Dune. Duneheads.
We are absolutely Duneheads. And shockingly, this is actually our first dedicated Dune-centric episode, so I can't wait to talk about this.
Wait, that's crazy.
I know.
I can't believe.
So, a little bit of background on the show. Dune Prophecy is a show that's on Max, formerly known as HBO, although it did air on the cable channel HBO. It is an HBO original.
It sure is.
It premiered in November of last year and ended just a couple weeks ago in December. It was a 6-episode season.
Too short, some might say.
This show is a prequel to the Dune films. It's set about 10,000 years before the events of the films. They're kind of based on the Great Schools of Dune trilogy, which is one of the later Dune books, written by Frank Herbert's son, Brian Herbert. So these kind of have a mixed reception in the Dune fandom because there's a big split about whether Brian Herbert's Dune books like stand up to his father's Dune books. So it's kind of based on that trilogy, but it's set in like a different timeline, or it's slightly later in the timeline of Dune.
One might say that it was inspired by the Great Schools of Dune trilogy and not truly based upon them.
Yes, I would agree with that, with those people who are saying that.
Those people are me.
Well, I agree with you, Geoff.
Point for me. First point of the new year.
So the plot of the series is that it's focused mostly on the formation of the Bene Gesserit. So Duneheads will know that this is like a very witchy organization of women who
wickedly talented
are kind of like pseudo-religious, and they try to influence the leaders of the Dune universe to their own ends. At the time of the show, this organization was called the Sisterhood.
Justin, I'm going to have a bone to pick with you about what you just said. Listeners, Justin has recoiled at this statement.
Oh, okay. Do you want to pick the bone right now?
I do.
Okay, do it.
I really do.
Do it.
I'm going to say that the Bene Gesserit is not a pseudo-religious organization. They operate under the guise of being a religious order. However, they are actually manipulating the beliefs of others' religious and theological beliefs into puppeteering them around the world.
Thanks for that clarification, Geoff. I do agree with you. I just think that
2 points for me in the new year. I'm on a roll.
I just think that, the perception of the Bene Gesserit from the outside is that they're like a religious organization. But yes, internally, you're correct. They're a mostly secular organization that is trying to basically like accumulate power for their own purposes.
Hell yeah.
Okay, so the creative team behind Dune Prophecy. The showrunner, writer, and executive producer is Alison Shapker, who has previously worked on many sci-fi shows. Most recently, Altered Carbon, which was a canceled Netflix show.
Who dat? I don't know her.
It was like...
Is it good?
It's based on a series of books, like very cyberpunky, like Blade Runner adjacent.
Oh.
It starred Joel Kinnaman, who you may remember from The Killing, I think was...
The Killing, that's what it was.
Yes, that was probably I know that you would know The Killing. He was also in Suicide Squad, the DC films.
Suicide Squad. I'm not watching that.
So she was the showrunner on Altered Carbon, and she also showran the, I would say, unfortunate season 4 of Westworld.
Let's erase that from our collective memory.
But she does have like bona fide sci-fi pedigree in terms of her work history.
But Westworld, I think we can all agree, was not it.
It was it until, I would say, season 3. Season 1 and 2 of Westworld were good. After that, it started getting bad.
Doesn't look like anything to me. Still one of my favorite memes.
So the cast of Dune Prophecy.
Oh, we got to talk about the cast.
There's a large cast, but I'm going to talk about the three,
Huge.
I would say, biggest stars here. We have the character Valya Harkonnen, who I would say is kind of our main character. She's portrayed by Emily Watson as an older woman and
Brilliant.
Jessica Barden as a younger woman.
Also brilliant.
And then her sister, Tula Harkonnen, is portrayed by Olivia Williams as an older woman and
Brilliant.
Emma Canning as a younger woman.
Also brilliant.
And then rounding out our trio of stars is Travis Fimmel, who plays Desmond Hart.
Ooh, don't like that man. Don't like him.
We're going to stay spoiler-free for now. We'll make sure to put in a spoiler warning whenever we start talking details. But, Geoff, since this is our first Dune episode, why don't you talk about your history with the franchise and your fandom?
Well, my fandom began with the first Dune movie. I did not read the books. Did you read the books?
I did.
When did you read them? After the movie came out or before?
Long before the movie came out.
How long?
I read it when we were working at the beach in the guard room. It was one of my
Lies.
summer books.
Lies. Justin.
Why are you accusing me of lies?
Because you're always like, oh, I knew this band back in 1894 before anyone else.
Because it's
and
true.
You're the same way with books. Wow, Justin said it's really hard to always be early.
It is. What can I say? Anyways, continue.
Okay, well, that's all. I just loved the first movie, and then I was like, I gotta get into this. I think I watched the first Dune movie like 5 times so far. I really love it.
It's a great film.
What about, Timothée Chalamet?
Mm-hmm.
Very good in that movie.
He is.
Oscar Isaac, very hot in that movie.
Very true.
Rebecca Ferguson, also very hot in that movie.
Absolutely.
Also a fucking powerhouse of an actor.
Yes.
Love her.
She's great. She's excellent.
Her incredible performance in Dune turned me into saying, you know what, I think I'm going to stand this one. I think I'm going to have to stand this one. And so then I watched her in Silo.
Also really good.
Another sci-fi series. Also very good. We got to talk about Silo at some point.
We'll talk about season 2 of Silo next. We'll have an episode about that for sure.
I like that.
But Geoff, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
What is it about Dune that you find so appealing?
Well, I think the world building, Justin. I think the world building. It's a big universe. But they make it very palatable. And they make it very easy to understand. Because there's like a lot of, you said this before, there's like visual parallels to technology that we have like in our world today.
Mm-hmm.
So that we can like intrinsically understand what these little gadgets and devices that they're using are without having to have a whole explanation and backstory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, the cinematography's great.
Oh, yeah. Denis Villeneuve, a absolute genius, for sure.
The inspiration from traditional garments worn by like different ethnic groups around our current world that inspire the, what do they call it, a visual
language,
language encyclopedia, whatever, of that world.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, I totally agree with you. I'm obviously a Dune stan, as I've said multiple times on the pod. I think I learned about Dune pretty early on when I was first getting into my like nerddom, and I was getting into like Star Wars.
Oh,
and
that hasn't ended.
It still of course it hasn't ended. But yeah, I was getting into Star Wars at the time, which I was kind of a latecomer to because the prequel trilogy was garbage.
Oh yeah, really bad.
But I remember reading that a big influence on Star Wars was the Dune novels.
Dune. That's right.
Because Arrakis, the planet where, you know, so much of the events of Dune take place, heavily influenced the home planet of Luke Skywalker, whose name I'm forgetting right now. Tatooine. So I read the book when I was a teenager.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
Long time ago. Hi, old.
I really enjoyed it. I mean, it's a weird book because it's a little bit dense. It throws a lot of stuff at you in terms of just like words and concepts that you don't understand and kind of asks you to swim, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Mixing my metaphors there. But what I really loved about the Denis Villeneuve films is that he managed to kind of take those really heady concepts and communicate them visually in a really simple and tractable way. Like, it was really easy for people who weren't familiar with the universe to pick it up and engage with it in a way that the book was very like not user friendly, right? It was very like you gotta look at the glossary, you know. So yeah, I'm also a stan, but I also really loved the themes that were present in the Dune books that Villeneuve managed to maintain in the films as well, which have to do with like humanity and becoming like a transhuman, transcending the issues that we have as humanity, like pain,
the human form,
sexual desire, the human form, stuff like that. He was a very like 70s like hippie druggy type, right? As you can imagine from the spice angle, which is obviously like
spice.
I think there's a really big influence of psilocybin mushrooms on his writing and spice as a drug.
Absolutely.
Frank Herbert was like a huge
drug user.
Yeah, mushroom user. He was like, we gotta transcend our human imperfections and try to become like a more logical and rational and kind species, basically. And that's what a lot of the themes of Dune are about. That's why I love Dune. Geoff, how did this show stand up to your expectations of the franchise? Did you like it? What are your overall thoughts?
Well, I got some thoughts about this, Justin.
Okay.
Denis Villeneuve? That's the name? Did I say it correctly?
Kind of. It's Denis, like, he's French. It's French-Canadian. So it's
Denis Villeneuve.
There you go. Perfect.
Okay. I liked this show. I think that it suffered from a few elements that they could not solve for without a visionary like Denis Villeneuve. I think one of those is they were a little too myopic with the casting. Like there were lots of other characters involved, but there were a lot of minor characters.
Totally agree.
And we were really focused on like basically 3 characters the whole show. And I'm like, but I want to know more about the motivations and the history of these other people. So I'm like, I wish that they had delved into some of the minor characters and given them a larger role and given us some context around them so that we can understand who they are and like how they're operating in the world. So that's my first gripe about the show.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel about that? Because you said you agree.
I totally agree. I think that this is exacerbated by the length of the season. So the show...
My second gripe.
...is 6 episodes long.
Too short, Justin.
When you have a 6-episode season of a show and you have like 20 characters, it just becomes like a hodgepodge of subplots. And there's something that I struggle with is differentiating the episodes from each other, because it feels like every episode there's like 12 things that happen, you know, as opposed to something like I would argue a slightly better show, House of the Dragon, right? You have like a dedicated Rook's Rest episode and you remember that sticks in your mind, right?
Yes.
Maybe you have some place setting episodes where people are just kind of moving around the map or whatever, but you do have those like dedicated, this is focused on this specific event or this specific character episodes. And those are what really make the show good, right? And then you have even like great shows. Like I think about The Leftovers, for example, where every episode of a season is focused specifically on one character and they have that focus on that character. That's what I crave in a TV show. I think that this show was way more interested in just forwarding the plot by whatever means necessary.
Exactly.
And the plot wasn't necessarily bad, but what that meant was that we're left with a whole bunch of kind of like discarded secondary characters that I don't know anything about, right?
Yes, I completely agree.
The Emperor.
Yeah.
What's going on with him? I don't fucking know. The Emperor's son.
I know nothing about him.
I don't know anything about him.
I know so little about the Emperor's son other than he's got mommy and daddy issues. That's it. Which, like, join the club, you know?
Right.
That's not special. Bitch, you ain't special.
How about the Atreides Swordmaster?
I have no understanding about his family history up until that point, other than, like, the small part of the flashback we saw from Tula's character.
Right.
And I don't understand what his motivation is. How did he get involved with this resistance organization? I need to understand more.
He's also like the most boring guy on the planet.
So vanilla.
Not even necessarily because of the actor, but because they literally gave him nothing to work with.
I think, actually, I do want to say, I think all the actors were... There was nobody I was watching and I was like, ooh, they're bad in this. Mm-hmm. Which is different than I feel about Common and Silo, as we've discussed many times. But I... just feel like the writing and the development of the characters wasn't there, and I'm like, this isn't much to do. There's not much to work with here at all.
I don't know, it's not really about blame, because this could be because of studio level decisions or the showrunner.
I'm not blaming anyone, I'm just saying they didn't have much to work with.
Right, and I'm just trying to identify like what it was that resulted in that. I think that with 6 episodes, and to get through this plot, which I think is a lot.
Much too short.
Right? There's a lot of plot that happens in this show. To get through that amount of plot, you have to have episodes where it's like, there was a couple episodes where I'm like, I thought that it was going to end like 3 times. Like there would be like a big event, and then I'd be like, okay, this is going to be the end. And then there would be like, nope, another big event and another big event.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh God, like there's just so much plot happening here. And it's squeezing out any time that the show would have otherwise spent on characters.
Right. My guess is that the studio gave them a very strict budget. It's like, you can't exceed this, but we expect like cinema level quality in terms of the visuals. So they're like, well, the only way we can do this is to shorten it from like a 10 episode series, or season to 6.
Right.
Because visually it's great. I mean, I think they did a lot of good stuff. I don't think it's like quite at the level of like Denis Villeneuve's movies, but I think it's really good. Like, there's no part of the CGI where I'm like, ooh, this looks bad, this looks cheesy. Like, it looks very good.
Yeah, they managed to recapitulate the aesthetic of Villeneuve's Dune movies.
Recapitulate.
Nice vocab word for the day. They managed to do that without it looking like it was on a TV budget, which I think is really impressive.
And important, because Duneheads expect the good.
Right, that's part of the reason why modern Dune is so popular, is because of the visual language of the world. Yeah. So it is really important. I do think that they over-explain certain concepts and lore in this show in a way that Villeneuve's films don't. And it didn't feel quite as like... The films have this like really interesting combination of like hyper-futuristic super alien stuff and then like weirdly familiar stuff. Like I think about on Caladan with like the bagpipes being played, right?
Right.
Like that is what part of the interesting juxtaposition that Villeneuve has in the films. And there wasn't as much of that here. I thought of 2 specific things in the TV show that made me think of that. The first was there's the use of a pomegranate during a wedding ceremony in the first episode, which I thought was so... That's just like a visceral, like organic thing that we all encounter today that I thought was a really cool touch. And then there's also a flashback episode about the Harkonnen clan where they're killing these like big, hairy...
They're like whaling.
Land-dwelling whales, right? Or are they ocean-dwelling whales? I'm not sure.
I believe that they were like ocean-dwelling, but they were like woolly whales, if you will.
Exactly. It was just like this weird, bizarre creature, which made me think, actually, I was like, damn, are there really not that many other animals in the films? It's really just the sandworms and then the kangaroo rat, right? They don't talk about any other organisms.
Oh, what is it? Muad'Dib.
Yeah, Muad'Dib, right.
Muad'Dib. Did you ever listen to the Dune audiobooks?
I have not, no.
Justin, the Dune audiobook is such a ride. It's so 70s. Like, there's weird, like, windy and, like, wind chime glistening sound music, like, in between.
Ooh, that's kind of nice.
Like, in between the chapters. Then there's, like, a very galactic sounding, like, it's almost like synth hits with, like, strings in the background when Princess Irulan is doing the narration at the very beginning of the thing. For those who haven't read the books, the Princess Irulan, who's a character that you may recognize from the Dune movies, there is a part in each chapter where she begins the chapter by almost like flashing back to like a diary that she's written, or like a chapter of a book that she's written about the history of these events that we're currently experiencing. And anyway, the person who voices her is great. And they speak so robotically. It's great. You got to listen to it. You got to listen to like a chapter. I think you'll be very fascinated by it. And on Arrakis, they have like this particular, like each planet where a chapter takes place has its own theme music that's like very quietly playing in the background of many of the scenes from the chapter.
That's cool. I love when audiobooks put in a little bit of ambiance, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's cool.
Ambiance is real. Also, there was drama, I found out, because when I was listening to the books on tape, I was like, wait a second, I'm like, the voice of this character has totally changed. Like, even from chapter to chapter, the voice is very different, and I'm like, what's going on here? I found out during the original recording there was almost like a like a mutiny of the actors who were doing the voice acting. So they left and were like replaced halfway through, but then had to like, they were not like recording the chapters in you know, like
in sequence,
in sequence. So like the voices jump around. It's wild.
That's wild. Wow.
Yeah, I love it. Anyway, what were you talking about?
Well, let's go back to
Woollen
prophecy.
Animals. Woollen Animals.
Yes.
Oh, the analog features of the movies and the TV series are a great way to kind of like make this not seem so far off and so alien.
Right. I wish that there was like a little bit more of that in the TV show, because I think there instead was a lot of exposition and explaining. So a negative example of this was we're trying to avoid spoilers here, but there's a scene where a member of the sisterhood goes through this process by which she can kind of commune with her ancestors through genetic memory.
Oh, yes. I did not like that part.
And this scene happens in the Dune films as well, right? And in the Dune film, you know, it's mostly off screen, right? It's all happening internally in Lady Jessica's mind, right?
Yep.
But in the show, they have this like weird, like super special effects heavy, almost like horror film influenced sequence, right? And I was like, this feels worse to me than if they just did it internally, right? It's a little bit of like the midichlorian effect, going back to Star Wars. I don't know if you're familiar with this.
The who, what now?
So in Star Wars, you know that some people have the ability to use the Force, right?
Yeah.
And in the initial trilogy, it's not really explained why some people have the ability and why some people don't.
Right.
But in the prequel trilogy, which came out later, it's like explained that people who have higher levels of quote unquote midichlorians are able to use the Force for whatever reason. And it's like kind of this like unnecessary explainer of why some people can use the Force. Yeah. And I felt that way about certain things in Dune Prophecy, where I was like, I didn't think that I really needed to know why this is the case because it already worked.
Right.
Like, that's not why I'm watching Dune, right?
Yeah.
The genetic memory sequence was for me in that category.
Yeah, I didn't care for that either. And famously, I hate horror movies, so like that whole sequence, I was like, this is getting creepy and like feels like the wrong tone for the show.
Right, for Dune, when I think, you know, I don't know, it was portrayed.
Like, it's sophisticated, but that part is like not sophisticated. Like the show is just like a little bit like highbrow, and like that part felt like very like middlebrow or lowbrow, like making it like a horror sequence suddenly, and that's how we have to understand that they are now inheriting the memories of all their ancestors. And like, we already understand how that happens from the movie. We don't need to re-explain this in a different way.
Right, in a way that I think is less effective than the way that has already been done in the movie. You know, and it's already copying, and I don't use that term in a negative way because it's in the same universe, but it's already taking a lot of the visual language from the movies and reusing it, right? Think about like the shields that protect people from bullets and stuff like that.
Love it.
Same visual language is used in the show.
And again, we get it right away.
Exactly.
Never had to be explained.
But they don't do that when it comes to the genetic memory thing. So I just wish that they maybe would have kept it a little bit less explained and a little bit more mysterious in the show.
Yes, I agree.
So that's like kind of, I guess we've talked a lot about the aesthetic of the show and how it fits into the Dune universe, but what about the plot of the show? Let's at least talk a little bit about the setup and what kind of the central mystery is here, because we haven't talked about the characters really and what they're doing. So we have these two sisters, Valia and Tula, both of which are from the Harkonnen clan. They are both a part of the Sisterhood. Valia Harkonnen is actually the, what's it called? The Sister Supreme?
Mother Superior.
Mother Superior, that's right. She's the Mother Superior, the leader of the Sisterhood. And she essentially has this scheme to get another sister on the throne.
The Empress of the Universe.
Right. The Empress of the Universe. But then this new player comes onto the scene, Desmond Hart. And he has this seemingly magical ability to seemingly magically burn people from a distance. And that is kind of the central mystery, is why is Desmond Hart able to do this?
Yeah. And for what purpose?
And for what purpose, right?
To what end? To what end?
So what did you think of the plot of the show without getting into spoilers yet?
Okay, without getting into spoilers, I think the plot was rushed. I think the plot was much too obtuse for a one-season reveal, especially a short one-season reveal. I felt like I'm confused about where the show goes from here, because now the central mystery has been resolved, but there is the next question is kind of like, okay, now we understand that part, who's behind it, which I think we all know from the many like blatant clues, like what's behind it. I just am like, okay, now how do you tackle this? I don't know. It just the plot was a bit disappointing for me. I felt like they could have done something much more interesting. I don't know. What do you think of the plot? Tell me your thoughts without spoilers, which is hard.
It is hard. I want to preface everything that I'm about to say by saying that I do like the show. I would say it's like a 7 out of 10. Enjoyable watch.
I gave it an 80, I believe.
Yeah.
When I reviewed it with you. Off mic.
Yeah, so I do like the show, especially early in the show. I had some issues with the plot to the point where I was even like, did they have to cut some scenes that explain something here? Because like there were parts where I was like, how does this character know this plot beat? Because we never saw them learn about this, or, you know, like, wait, so how does this connect to that? And I wasn't sure if I was just like not paying close enough attention, or if they had just not explained certain stuff. And this is not like quote unquote lore things about the universe. It's literally like basic plot details. Like, how did this character learn about this plot point? I do think that, especially the finale, which I think is probably the best episode of the show, they managed to have enough good stuff there that pulled together this kind of odd plot labyrinth that they had put into play in a satisfying way. Like, the answers that are given in the finale were satisfying to me on some level, and I think there are still threads that can be picked up and questions that are left unanswered. But I do wish that, you know, plot to me is not the reason why I'm watching most shows. I care about plot insofar as it involves the characters that I care about. And I think that really, by the end of the show, the only characters that I really had like actual care for were the two Harkonnen sisters.
Yeah.
Like, they were really the only two. And I think that the show would have been a lot better if either they gave more time to some of the secondary characters and let us care about them more, or if they kind of cut them out and focused really hard on the two sisters, because I think that their relationship is pretty meaty.
Yeah, I think that their relationship's interesting. I think a few other things that I want to say. Mm-hmm. I feel that while I saw the value and enjoyed learning about Valia and Tula's past, I did not need so many flashbacks to understand like where so much of the rift in their relationship was, especially like the stuff about their younger brother. I didn't need so much time dedicated towards that. I think it could have been an effective 15-minute flashback in one episode, and I would have totally understood.
Yeah, I think that you either got to go hard and have like a full episode that's a flashback, or, you know, the brother kind of came up in a critical climactic moment in the finale, and I had to in my mind be like, wait, who's this guy again? And like, that is a bad sign. Because if I have to ask like, why is this really important emotional moment happening, then the emotional beat didn't land. And I think that's because they didn't give us enough time with that character, the brother.
Totally.
Right? And I'm like, why do I care about this? But yeah, so I totally agree with you.
You know who I really want more of? Was Asha.
Which one was... Remind me who that is.
Okay, so the first episode, I think it was the actress's portrayal. I just became very entranced by her. She was the... What do they call them in the show? Truth Whisperer? Truthsayer? The original Truthsayer of the Emperor.
Yes, I forget. Yeah, I know who she is now. Yep.
But, like, in that episode, I felt like they did a really interesting thing where, like, you saw her. She was one of the few characters who you really see interact with many other of the characters.
Yeah.
She interacted with Tula. She interacted with Mother Superior Valia. She interacted with the Emperor. She interacted with the Emperor's wife. She interacted with the Empress' daughter, who they're trying to get to join the Sisterhood. She was the first one I was like, oh, this person's important to a lot of people, and she's well-respected and venerable. I didn't see that kind of relationship development between a lot of the other minor or secondary characters in the show.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't really have a lot of time or stakes invested in this person because I can't see how important they are to all these other people.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
I think that, well, that's something that I noticed about the show for sure, is that it is like heavily indebted to Game of Thrones. It is trying really hard to be Game of Thrones. And I think that I understand why they want that, because it's a similarly like well fleshed out fictional universe with a lot of characters. Yeah. I get it.
Political drama.
Right. But they're two different things. And I think that it might have been a better show if it tried to kind of find its own way instead of so obviously cribbing from Game of Thrones.
Cribbing! Justin with the vocab words today. Capitulate. Cribbing.
I gotta do it to him.
I've never heard cribbing. What is cribbing?
I don't know. I think it's like
ripping
stealing,
off?
Ripping off.
Okay.
Yeah. I think that's what it means, hopefully.
I like that. Cribbing. I don't know why that really tickles me. Okay. Yeah, I agree with that.
So why don't we actually take a beat and go into spoilers, because I think this is a good opportunity for us to do that.
Okay.
What is up, y'all? Editor Justin here. If you want to skip Dune Prophecy spoilers, you can jump to the 1 hour, 43-minute mark. All right, let's get back to the show. Okay, spoiler talk. Geoff, what did you think about the way that things wrapped up this season with Desmond?
Oh, well, Justin, as we've discussed, I felt it was very rushed. I think it was also kind of like cloying that, like, it turns out he's Tula's son. I'm like, okay.
I think that it is important that he's Tula's son only insofar as he is it right. He's basically, to use like vaguely eugenicsy language, a half-breed between Harkonnen and Atreides. So he's kind of a proto Kwisatz Haderach, right? This like character that is super powerful, that in the Dune films, the Sisterhood, or then known as the Bene Gesserit, are trying to bring to power, right? Basically, Paul.
For how can it be? He is the Kwisatz Haderach.
Exactly. I think that it's really tough to be a prequel to a big franchise like this because you inevitably end up having those kind of like Marvel Cinematic Universe-esque moments where it's like, oh, so this is why like Tony Stark has the Iron Man outfit or whatever, you know, like, or callbacks, right?
It was very much giving Luke, I am your father. Like, okay.
Yeah. And I just think that sometimes having those like universe touch points is a little bit cheap and feels bad,
so
right?
Cheesy.
Like I think about like in Wicked when they're like, oh, this is why the bricks are yellow. I'm like, I didn't need you to decide what color the bricks are. Like,
okay, that was kind of cute.
They just toss that off for the fans, you know. That's like easy fan service. It's cute, but I think that it's like, if done in excess, it can be a little cheap. And I will say that in terms of the Kwisatz Haderach thing with Desmond, I think they actually pulled it off because it's not like they were like, oh, he's a combination of the Harkonnen line and the Atreides line, and he is, and like music swells, the Kwisatz Haderach. Like they could have been way more crazy about it.
Okay, wait, I get this now. Because this was set so far in the past, and he is so powerful, they are now in the Dune of our days, you know, the Dune, not Dune Prophecy movies, like, they are trying to recreate the power of this person that already existed.
Right. This is essentially how they discovered this prophecy, which is why,
Dune
I'm
Prophecy.
assuming why it's called Dune Prophecy.
Oh my God, Justin, I just got this. Wow, mind blown.
So I think that they actually managed to pull it off pretty well without like over explaining it. If they were like, oh, it's just like we're calling him the Kwisatz Haderach, he's so powerful. It was more like subtle, and I think if you're into Dune, you can figure it out on your own. So I appreciated that. Another thing that I was sure they were going to do is I was sure they were going to say fear is the mind killer when they were talking about the virus.
Okay, sure. They probably will.
I'm sure they will, but I was kind of expecting it to be like a really cringe moment of like her telling, you know, the sister dying of the virus, like, do not fear. Fear is the mind killer. And then it's like, bing.
Yeah.
Just like in the movies, you know. So I appreciate that they didn't do that. Instead of like explicitly shouting that out, they were just like, let it dovetail with the themes of the movie and let people make that connection for themselves.
Sure.
You know, which I did appreciate. That being said,
okay,
I think that the explanation for why and how Desmond is like distributing this mind virus is super weird.
Boo.
And like half-assed. Like they basically were just like, oh, the hand wavy, it's just a machine. It's like a AI. And AI in this TV show, because AI is actually a new concept to the Dune universe as we know it, right? Because there are they call them thinking machines in the world of Dune.
Yes.
There are no thinking machines in the films. So this is like a truly unique to the show concept. And instead of like the AI representing anything or like having a face that we can look at as being villainous or whatever, it's kind of just like this catch-all for bad, right? Like it's like this weapon that people use for their own ends. The Sisterhood uses it. Whoever is controlling Desmond is using it to distribute this virus. And to me, like the fact that Desmond was using a thinking machine is not as satisfying a reveal as if we had figured out who was controlling him or what his motives were.
Wait, this is interesting.
And Desmond is still like a blank slate to me. So I feel like I still don't really know that much about Desmond other than the fact that he has this like cybernetic eye that's spreading the mind virus.
Okay, my understanding was that this virus is not being spread by Desmond or his eye, that it's like already something that exists in the world from the first thinking machine war. Like it was put out there and it's like an airborne virus, you know, a la 28 Days Later, whatever that movie was, Contagion, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And that for whatever reason, he's able to just create fear in these people to the point that the virus is then activated within their bodies. But that basically everyone who lives has this virus just like latent and dormant sitting inside them. I also thought that like the thinking machines were controlling, were the ones who like took Desmond and like gave him like that cybernetic eye or whatever. But I'm also so confused because it was like I'm just so confused because he was like talking about how he was like allowed himself to be killed by the sandworm, basically committed suicide by doing nothing with the sandworm.
Yeah, what the fuck is going on with the worm thing?
But then instead of actually dying, like thinking machines, like save him and then give him a cybernetic eye. It just doesn't make sense.
This is why, yeah, right. This is what I was talking about when I was saying, is the plot just poorly written or am I stupid?
Two things can be true, boy, for me.
That's very true. There's this recurring scene where Desmond is visualizing getting eaten by a sandworm.
Yes. With the thumper.
Okay. On one level, there's a theme of letting the fear pass through you without responding to it. That's how Valia like survived her kind of like fear nightmare that she went through in the finale, right? With her brother. Was that, and this is very Fear is the Mind Killer, Dune heavy stuff, right? Yeah. If you interpret it in that way, the worm is just symbolic of Desmond's fear, right? And he's just letting it eat him, quote unquote.
Aha, yes, okay.
But in, I think, the first or second episode of the show, he shows the Emperor what appears to be like a surveillance video of him getting eaten by the worm. Although, importantly, it doesn't actually show him being eaten on the show. This is another point of confusion for me. I was like,
right.
I saw the video, and then it only clicked with me when the Emperor said, oh yeah, he got eaten by a sandworm, that I was like, oh, he was getting eaten by the worm. I thought maybe he would ride the worm or something, right? But no, the Emperor was like, nope, he got eaten by it. So again, it feels just a little bit sloppy writing wise. I'm not sure whether the worm is like a physical real thing that happened to him or if it's a symbol of his fear. Very confusing to me.
Right, and like you can't trust him because we don't really know his motivation, so it's like that video could have just been created.
Or how much he's being controlled by somebody and how much is his own desire. There's a lot of questions. And to go back to the virus, now that you say that, is the virus the fear itself? Like, is that what's being transferred through Desmond? Or is it like these actual thinking machines, these nano machines that are activated by fear, right? When the Sisterhood was talking about it, they were like, oh, Desmond is like patient zero and he's spreading it from person to person. And I interpreted that to mean the virus. But now that you're saying the fear, I can imagine that he's kind of like brain melding with people and sharing that vision of the worm and triggering the fear, which is what causes them to burn up. Right?
Yeah, that was my understanding of it.
So I can see that too. And I don't think, I know this might sound conflicting because I just said that maybe if they explain things less, it would be better. But I think that on plot points that are this important, it just leads to confusion at the end if you don't explain them.
Yeah, we need a clear explanation of like what is actually happening. And I'm hoping that season 2 will sort of like start off with that.
Yeah, there's a lot of like promise here.
There's a lot of loose threads.
Yeah, there's a lot of loose threads. And I think there's a lot of promise if they manage to pay those off. But it almost feels in some ways like now the show is starting. It feels a little bit like season 1 of House of the Dragon in that way, where it's like, okay, now we know like where people stand. But I think because it had less episodes than something like House of the Dragon and felt a little rushed.
Fewer
episodes than House of the Dragon and felt a little rushed.
Sorry, that was an annoying point for you.
It's not as good of a show as House of the Dragon at this point, I think. But it has promise. So I'm looking forward to season 2, which it has been greenlit for.
Yeah, lucky for us. Oh, listen, Justin, let me tell you this. HBO, you're on fucking notice, bitch. I want 10 episodes of every fucking show that you put out. Moving forward, 6 is simply not enough. It's just not. Every single time you shorten the season, the quality of the actual narrative suffers. It's not a good decision. Throw more money at it. People are going to watch it and enjoy it even more, which means you'll have a bigger audience. Fucking stop being cheap charlatans trying to line the pockets of yourselves and your fucking shareholders. Get it together, HBO.
Yeah, not to sound like a broken record, because I feel like every time we talk about an HBO show, we talk about this.
We do.
Like, 6 episodes is wild.
The fuck is this, Great Britain? We're not doing fucking 6 episode series. We're doing fucking 10 episode seasons, bitch. This is America. Fuck off.
Especially for something like Dune, where I think that they have to do a lot of expositional heavy lifting to familiarize people with the setting.
Yeah.
They simply didn't have the time to do it, and now we have characters like... Do you remember the sister who is from Arrakis that was like a traitor that allied herself with the Atreides Swordmaster?
Where's she at? What's her name?
She was in like an episode and a half, and there was like a quote-unquote twist that she was a sister.
I think she was on screen for a total of 20 minutes.
Exactly, and I was like, am I supposed to be reacting to this? Like, I don't even know who this is.
Exactly. Right, exactly.
So there were a lot of moments like that where I was like, do I care about this? Oh, on this note, the shapeshifter.
The shapeshifter.
This was maybe my least favorite moment.
We gotta talk about the shapeshifter
of the show. There's a character, and let me make sure I get this right. Okay, so there's a character in the show named Theodosia. She's kind of a sister in training.
Acolyte.
An acolyte, right? And it's revealed at the end of episode 4 that she is a shapeshifter. She was experimented on by this faction in the Dune universe called the Tleilaxu, which have not really been in the movies yet. Right. This is like a totally new concept, right?
Yep.
Which you can imagine, again, there's precious few things that are truly new to the show. There's the thinking machines, and then this shape-shifting ability, I think, are maybe the big two, right?
Yeah.
It's revealed that she's a shapeshifter at the end of episode 4, where seemingly inexplicably, she takes the shape of Valya's brother.
Yeah.
It seemed like to me that they used this shape-shifting twist basically just for a shock value end of episode bumper, right? Where they were like, whoa, crazy, it's a shapeshifter. Didn't explain it at all.
Yeah.
There was an actual no in-universe reason for her to be shape-shifting into her brother.
Yes, there's no reason. It didn't make any sense.
And then I had to be like, wait, what the fuck just happened? That was another moment where I was like, why did you choose to reveal this at this moment? Right. Like, there could have been a really cool twist at some point where maybe there's a character that we think we know, and then that character shapeshifts back into Theodosia, right? Instead, it's like, oh, out of nowhere, it turns out Theodosia can change her face, Made no sense at all.
No.
And then later on in the show, she shapeshifts into the princess, right? In a scheme to free the princess from prison. Basically, turns out she wasn't even needed for that purpose because she shapeshifted into a guard and tried to kill Desmond unsuccessfully. And then she gets killed.
Yeah, that was so weird too, right?
Yeah, and then she dies.
It just made no sense.
It was like, what was the whole purpose of the shapeshifter? The only reason why was because they needed a twist at the end of episode 4. Which, again, I hate shock value shit like that. There could have been a much more valuable place to fit that in, and Theodosia could have been a way cooler character. But instead, she was like barely in the show. We got the shock value shapeshifter twist, and then she died.
Yeah.
Just another example of like the detritus that arises when you don't have the time to dedicate to your characters,
That's exactly right, Justin. By the way, the fact that we really don't know any of the characters' names should tell them all something about this. It's like we know the 3. Of all the girls here, who would be the 3? The 3 would be Tula, Valia, and Desmond.
Yep.
We don't know anyone else's names. So sorry. We haven't gotten the time. We don't know them. We don't know her.
Even Desmond, who is an important character plot-wise, I don't know anything about his character. He's just kind of like creepy dude with scraggly beard.
He's very creepy. I don't like the way he looks. His hair is greasy.
He's always cast type as this like mysterious kind of like off-putting dude. He was in a really cool HBO show called Raised by Wolves in a very similar role.
I could see that. He could look like someone who was raised by wolves. There's like a wildness to his face and his just ethos. I don't like it.
And he has those like unnervingly light blue eyes.
They're creepy. Oh, it's creepy. I don't like it at all. Make it stop. Get that off the screen. I'm not watching that.
Okay, so before we close on Dune Prophecy, any lingering thoughts?
Well, I don't know if there's anything lingering. I think I kind of put it all out there about how I feel. Oh, wait, no, one more thing. I want to clarify here.
Mm-hmm.
For our international listeners, and we do have at least one, when I said, this is America, trust and believe, America has a lot of problems. A lot of problems. My comparison to British television and their short series, they like to call their season series, which I think is funny and cute. They have so many fun words in the UK. I think we need some more of them. How about a chin wag?
I don't know what that is.
A chin wag is just like a little chat.
Okay.
I think we should start incorporating that into American English.
Like a quick gab.
Yeah, exactly. Is that a thing people say, quick gab? Who says that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying it.
Okay.
I mean, gab. The gift of gab.
Yeah.
It's a thing people say.
I don't think we need to make quick gab happen.
I'm not trying to.
Okay. I like chinwag. I think that's what we should go for.
All right, let's start saying chinwag.
All right. Justin, let's have a little chinwag. What was the other word you said today? Confabulate? Congesculate? What did you say?
I think it was recapitulate.
Recapitulate. Recapitulate. Anyway, the UK does have shorter series, but they do a better job. And they're not trying to do Dune, this fucking epic, truly of like monstrous scale, in 6 episodes. They simply would never. So that's what I have to say about that.
Agreed. Yeah, and I guess I just want to close by saying that I criticize the show a lot because there is a lot to criticize here. It's a very imperfect show.
I criticize the show a lot because there's a lot to criticize.
But I do think it has a lot of promise, and I did enjoy the watching experience, especially after that finale, which I really think actually saved the show for me. I think if the finale was worse, I would have been like, I don't really know if it's worth watching for other people. But now that I've seen the finale and I see the promise there, I do actually think that I recommend it, especially if you're a big Dune head like Geoff and I. Because if you are, this is more of that world. You get a little bit more context into some of the events that happen in the films.
Sure.
And I think that there's promise of way cooler stuff going on in season 2. So I'd recommend it.
Justin, that said, what would your recommendations be for the 2nd season of Dune Prophecy?
Oh, man. Well,
just off the cuff. Doesn't have to be perfect.
Just to repeat some of the stuff I've already said is...
You're giving a list of recommendations here.
I would say focus on specific characters or plot events on a per episode basis.
Yes.
Like, we need a little bit more focus and a little bit less scatterbrained where have to catch up with every character every episode type writing,
Yep.
That's number 1.
Okay. Number 2.
Number 2.
We're going to do 3.
I really appreciate those little touches of like the organic features of this world in addition to the technological features. There were some special effects in season 1 that seemed a little bit like generic sci-fi vibes.
Yep.
I would enjoy some more of that pomegranate type vibes. You know what I'm saying? We need a little more weirdness in there to make it feel like Dune. Exactly.
Yep. Okay. And then number 3.
Last one is that some of the most enjoyable sequences in season 1 had to do with scheming. That's kind of the whole fantasy of the Bene Gesserit is when they're like, all right, we got to get this thing done. Let me talk to this guy and I'll talk to this guy and we'll like scheme around this to plan around it, right? Thinking about like the final episode, and there was also a episode in the middle of the season about the Landsrad where they were trying to figure out a power grab and how they were going to do that. Those were easily like the best parts of season 1 for me.
Yes.
And I think that emphasizing the scheming, that's like the meat and potatoes of a Bene Gesserit storyline, I think. So emphasize that in season 2 as well.
I co-sign all 3 of those and completely agree 100%.
All right. Well, point for me, I guess, on that one.
Wait a second now. You're not getting to award the points. I'll award them. I'm taking back my earlier point for you for trying to take my job.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, in that case, let's take a quick break and we'll be right back with our What's Good.
Okay.
And we are back.
We're back, Justin. And Justin, before you say anything, I'm going to award you 2 points for this episode.
This is a twist.
I'm giving them back and giving you another. How's that?
3 points. This is unprecedented.
Yeah. Pretty good.
Very kind of you, Geoff. I appreciate this.
You're welcome. It's a new year, Justin. We're starting fresh for episode 34?
33.
33.
That's right.
Wait, that's a magic number.
Oh, well, hopefully this is a magical episode.
I think it's been magically good. One might say it's been wickedly good.
I would agree that it's been wickedly good.
And wickedly
Geoff,
fun. Yes?
I want to stay on that train and keep things, I would say, wickedly good by asking you...
Nice segue.
What's good with you this week?
Well, Justin, there's a lot good with me as always. But one thing that I want to shout out today on this episode here of Bants is a little music video that came out a couple days ago for a song that has been previously discussed on the pod by an artist who is much beloved by the pod and many of our listeners, I must say. We got a big response about the mention of this artist, who goes by the name of Doechii.
A genius.
A true genius. Lyrical mastermind. I would say she's the new sound of rap. Would you agree?
Oh, I think she is absolutely, especially after the last few weeks where I've seen so much upswell in social media about her.
How about her Tiny Desk concert?
Incredible. Yeah.
It really was like a masterful example of like what one can do with a limited space.
I think she is the one to watch right now in hip hop.
Doechii,
no question.
You really are that girl. She is a moment. Wait, what is
She is a moment. I think you meant
no, she's a legend.
Moment.
She's the moment. I can't remember how it goes. That Wendy Williams thing.
I don't know Wendy Williams.
She's a legend. She's an icon. And she is the moment. Now, come on now. I finally got back to it.
Got it.
Solid. My Wendy card still intact, not yet revoked.
Phew.
I miss Wendy Williams so much. I say this all the time, but I really do. Anyway, the music video that came out that I think is really great and everyone should watch is for her song Denial is a River, which is famously a song about her discovering that her ex-boyfriend was two-timing her with another man. So basically the song is about her realizing this and her talking it out with her therapist or friend. She hasn't really exactly said whether it was a friend or friends multiple or a therapist, but I always took it to be like a conversation she was working through with her therapist because of the language that was being used. But the music video is great. It's shot like an early 90s sitcom, including like the fun title card that says Denial's a River. The actors in it are really great. There's one guy in it who I cannot remember what he's in, but he's been in a lot of things, including Abbott Elementary. That's what I recognized him for most recently. And he plays her boyfriend or ex-boyfriend. But the music video it's really full of humor. And famously, much like Katie Couric, I love humor. So I think everyone should check it out. Very funny. There's a great moment in the music video where she's talking about how she like got rid of her boyfriend once she discovered that he was cheating on her, and she throws like an All That style dummy mannequin out of the front door dressed as the boyfriend, and it's so funny because in the background he just goes "Oh!" while he's being tossed off camera. It's so funny. It's a great music video. So everyone should check out Denial's a River, the music video by Doechii. Put out a couple days ago. You can stream it on YouTube.
I've watched it. It's great. It was like heavily recommended to me on YouTube, I think, because I watched the Tiny Desk concert and her Colbert performance after Ben's recommendation.
Ben loves Doechii.
He does.
Ben loved black music.
Quick clarification.
Yes.
In the video, there are two actors, Zach Fox and Ricky Thompson. I think Zach Fox is the Abbott Elementary actor who you're talking about.
Yes, that is his name. Zach Fox. And he's great. He's very funny in the music video. And he's only in the music video for like maybe 25 seconds, but he's really good in it. So that's what's good with me. And Justin, it's that time of the pod. It's time for you. Oh my god, wait. I went first this week. I never go first.
Oh, switching it up.
Whoa, switch it up for 2025. Justin, what's good with you this week?
Well, Geoff, I'm going to talk about something that I talked about previously in our canned episode, but that I just love so much that I had to recommend.
What canned episode? No mistake.
We've never made a mistake in our lives. So it's a book called Absolution by Geoff Vandermeer. So this book is the fourth in a series called the Southern Reach series. Geoff Vandermeer is one of my favorite authors of all time, and the Southern Reach series was really what turned me on to him. It's a book series that is made up of 4 books, as I mentioned: Annihilation, Authority, Acceptance, and this most recent one, Absolution. So Annihilation was famously made into a movie starring Natalie Portman and directed by Alex Garland. The general premise of this series is that there is an area that in universe is called Area X that has seemingly randomly sprung into being in the Florida Everglades. the government is obviously interested in what's going on in this area because there's this boundary that exists around it. And if you try to enter the boundary, you just disappear and nobody really knows what happens or where you go.
Right.
So this government agency sends expeditions into Area X. And every time they do, weird shit happens. Sometimes people die by mysterious means. Sometimes they enter and then they somehow exit and they have no memory of their time in Area X. So this is kind of like a bit of a psychological horror series. Mm-hmm. The first book, Annihilation, focuses on a biologist who's a member of an expedition that goes into Area X and her, activities there. Some creepy shit happens.
Natalie Portman.
Right, that's Natalie Portman in the film. In the second book, Authority, the plot focuses more on that government agency outside Area X that is trying to figure out what it is and what it does. And then the third book kind of takes plot points from both of those first two books and interweaves them into a really satisfying kind of ending. All three of those first three books were published within months of each other. It was
really?
Boom, boom, boom. And this most recent fourth book came out almost 10 years after Acceptance was published. So it was a really surprise fourth installment to the series.
By chance, did Absolution take place 10,000 years before the events of the first three books?
It did not.
Oh, all right.
That'd be a great parallel. I would describe it as it's a weird combination of prequel and interquel. So it follows some characters that were in the first trilogy, very side peripheral characters, and fleshes them out to like an insane degree. So it focuses on 10 or 15 years before Area X came to be and some events that took place in that area of Florida when it was still inhabited by people. It then flashes forward in the second part of the narrative to this agent of the government called Old Jim. At least he goes by Old Jim. And his activities to try to figure out what's been going on in this area. Again, this is before Area X went up, but we learned that there was actually some mysterious events that were going on before Area X came to be. And that maybe those events had to do with how Area X began, right? So okay. Old Jim is trying to figure out what happened there. And then it flashes forward again to the very first expedition into Area X. And we follow a character named Lowry it's basically like a first contact story where it's like what happened the very first time that the agency tried to send somebody into Area X. And of course, horrifying hijinks ensue. So it's a great book if you're into horror literature, which obviously I am. I think two of my book recommendations on this podcast have been horror. It was like shockingly good and shockingly, I don't know. I felt myself playing detective. Like there's a lot of Easter eggs and little things that, if you just read it on a basic plot level, you might not catch. But if you're familiar with the series and you read it kind of as like a bonus follow-up to the initial trilogy, there's a lot of things that you can kind of put together and makes the book actually a lot more thematically resonant than it appears to be on first pass. So I just really love this author, this series, and I had to shout it out on the pod. So this new installment of the Southern Reach series is called Absolution, and it's by Geoff Vandermeer.
Do you think that this would make a good HBO series?
I was thinking about this actually because it would be really hard to adapt because of the nature of the different timelines that are in this book. You would have to like adapt it as a series, not as like book 1, book 2, book 3, book 4. But I totally could see it being really good if you had the right, creatives behind it. I would love to see, a horror director.
This was my next
take this on.
Okay.
Yeah. Like who would be the creative?
Yeah, all the girls, who would be the one?
It's tough because I think that the only horror TV person that I can think of right now is Mike Flanagan, who is the guy that did Haunting of Hill House on Netflix. And I love his stuff. Don't get me wrong. But he's way more in the Stephen King camp of horror where he's all about kind of like, there's got to be a warmth to the characters. There has to be like a human beating heart in these stories. I think that Geoff Vandermeer's stuff is a little bit weirder and like colder than that. So I don't know if he would be a good fit.
Would you say it's like Lovecraftian vibes?
Absolutely Lovecraftian. Yeah.
What's the other word used to describe Lovecraft stuff?
Cosmic horror is sometimes what people use. Eldritch?
Yes, an eldritch horror.
Yeah, it is eldritch horror.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely.
Fascinating.
I mean, I would love to see like a film director take it on as a TV project, right? So I think Ari Aster would be pretty good at it.
Okay.
I also think Alex Garland was a pretty good choice for Annihilation, but I do think, he made changes to that book and made it kind of a standalone film, so I don't think he could do it again.
Got it.
So, yeah, I think Ari Aster would be really cool if he was able to do it, because he has been known to do some pretty fucked up, weird, psychedelic imagery in Midsommar. So I think that style would fit this series if he wanted to take it on. Yeah.
You know what? Justice for Lovecraft Country on HBO. I really wanted to see what was going to happen next.
Yeah, that was a great show.
It was great. There are so many things that just like made it not work in the end, but
yep.
Pragmatically.
Yeah, rest in peace.
R.I.P. Man, there's so many other things I want to talk about. We got to talk about the Dior bags. We got to talk about the Workin bags.
I don't know what you're talking about. However,
we got to talk about the inauguration, Justin.
Oh, unfortunately.
1933 rally. A 1933 style victory rally happening the day before. We got to talk about that next time.
And I'm sure we will talk about that on future installments of this excellent podcast, Vance.
A wickedly talented podcast. Justin, the Hermes bags? There's a lot of bags we got to talk about.
I don't understand. Okay, we'll talk. I'm going to need an explainer. I'm going to need a bag explainer.
Hot topics next time.
Next time.
Well, until then, listeners dear, thanks for listening and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year.
We'll see you later.
Bye. This has been Vance with Geoff and Justin. Vance is created and produced by Geoff Taylor and me, Justin Benavidez. Graphic design by Geoff Taylor. Editing by Justin Benavidez. The theme music for Vance is the track Nebraska With You by Sam Day, and is provided by No Copyright Sounds. Email us at vancepod@gmail.com with any questions, recommendations, or just to say hi. If you like the podcast, rate and review us on Apple or Spotify. And tell your friends. Bye!
Bye!
Well, Geoff, with that, why don't we get into some hot topics?
Hot topics. Oh no!
What did you do?
Oh, hold on, my coffee! Okay. My coffee is everywhere!
I suspected.
Oh, shit tits. Oh, I'll never be able to return this desk. New Year, same bullshit. Don't look at me!
Luckily, we're not on video yet.
Oh, yeah. Well, I meant you don't look at me.
Oh, okay.
Yes, none of you at home. None of you look at me. Because we're leaving this in. This is going to be great. They're going to really enjoy listening to this minute of silence.
This is content.
Peak content. Okay. Wow, I feel great. I feel so ready again.
Okay. So, hot topics.